Lord.
You mean everything to me because I know you mean everything to Christ. And Christ means everything to me.
And I called on the Lord. I said, that Father, this is real. Will you watch over me? Will you raise them up to be strong? I'm just a man with flesh. This is what you called for in your scriptures. You said they wore studs and fringes, they got it on. You said they will follow the law, they doing it. You said under your house shot, they ought to love one another. And they doing it.
We're in front of the Israeli School, Universal Practical Knowledge, the Philadelphia Division, here at 3226 Cheltenham Avenue in Philadelphia. We're standing in front of the school right now, getting a description of the 12 tribe sign that's been painted by one of the brothers that was in the school: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel.
Shalom. Shalom. You've been waiting for this day, so this day has finally come. A lot of you have been wondering where this knowledge that you've been hearing is coming from, and the powerful truth that you've been hearing, how this was established. Well, we finally were able to arrange for the priests to come down from New York and spend some time with us. And I'd like to introduce them if I can. These are some great brothers. We're very glad to have them with us. We want to make them feel as warm as possible, because this is their work and the extension of their work and what they've laid down some time ago. I'd like to introduce, first of all, priest and Sixth Shield General, 4th in command in the nation of Israel, Lahab. I'd like to salute this brother. March up. Barak. Yeshabim, which means sit. And I'm going to turn it over now to Priest General Lahab.
Come on, brother. I'd like to say this, starting off, we're very impressed at your school here, and we're very impressed to see that the brothers and sisters in Philadelphia think enough of the Most High and the Bible and the truth and your nationality to be a part of this, because most of the brothers and sisters are running from the truth.
Ironic.
You know the truth is the truth, that's all I know. Cry loud and spare not, you gon' get exposed. A few real niggas left, you not one of those. Real soldiers, we was born to stand 10 toes. If he ain't one West, that nigga not one of mine. He got a purple 12, me, I got a black 9. The truth is the wife of my youth, chopper my concubine. Had to die to get my rib, that bitch forever mine. You know the game, a Bishop gotta be blameless, but GMS teaching niggas to be rapists. They screaming we snitch. When Joey Morgan was killed by your brother, y'all ain't say shit. Real prophets only dwell in the UPK. PSA, we don't sign NDAs. Real prophets only dwell in the UPK. PSA, we don't sign NDAs.
Hey, 100 deep, 100 shields on, that's 100 priests. 100 boots, that's 200 feet. Tongue like a sword when I fucking speak. Teach you how to fish instead of fucking leech. Stop selling drugs instead of trying to fuck with me. Knowledgeable, but I'm rude in my fucking speech. Life is about warfare, not no fucking peace. Big bitch, I cry loud when I fucking speak. Make them wait a year before they fuck with me. Turn a street nigga to a fucking priest. Cross a priest and I promise you forever sleep.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Yabba Shimon Shabrak a thumb. Hey, Slaki Masha, I can't hear you if you're trying to speak. Is that me?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, come on, so I can hear you now.
Shalom, Yahweh Shimon Shabrak Sa, priest and officer of 1,000 Mashah in the house with priest and officer 500 Shayawan out of Canada. And here in Detroit with me, a priest and officer 500 Abawan. And tonight, this is the Monday night. What class is this? The history class. Right. The ISUPK history class. What you got, Shayawan?
So yeah, so we got, as everybody knows, 4th of July is coming up. So I thought it would be a good time to speak on some history on the 4th of July. I know... interestingly, I noticed that this year is going to, people are expecting the 4th of July to be the busiest it's ever been. I had read an article saying they're expecting around...
Salakia, before we get too far into that, we do want to make note of and make an announcement of that from July. And this is just what you call a public service announcement, PSA. Right. From July 31st, is that it? To August 3rd. In Chicago is going to be the Midwest Fire Weekend. We're going to tell you about it at the beginning. We're going to tell you. And watch this. It works out that we're putting this in here because you don't have to celebrate 4th of July.
Yeah.
You can wait till the end of the month, hit us in Chicago, and celebrate the Midwest Fire Weekend. We gonna run it big down there with Cap Mawa Quad and that Chicago mob and the whole Midwest. Detroit gonna be there. Kansas City gonna be there. St. Louis gonna be there. Everybody gonna be there. Cleveland gonna be there. Who else gonna be there?
Shoot, Canada's gonna be there. So Canada's gonna be out there.
Canada gonna be. Charlie Pop said, "Shit, Canada gonna be in the house."
I mean, sir.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Charlie Wan?
Can
you hear me?
Can you hear Abawan?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Not just Canada, everywhere, Pittsburgh, New York, the general's going to be there, the captain's going to be there, the officers, the troopers, the sisters, the children. Israel, this is for you. Join your people in Chicago for the annual Midwest Fire Weekend, hosted by our leader here in Detroit,
Captain of 13,000.
13,000. The generals call him the Midwest Monster.
Midwest Monster of Mayhem. Cap Mawa Quad.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
If I may, sir, I got some people checking in.
You're gonna read them check-ins real quick. Can you see the comments, Shayawan?
Concert.
Okay, all right.
We got Nashak Gabar checking in, sir. We got Carolyn Rasville checking in. We got Officer 500 Rock.
Con.
I call him the builder.
I see you. I see you.
I call him the builder.
Officer Taza Rock. That's my brother right there, boy.
Yes, sir. Who else we got checking in? We have Asha.
That's sister.
Yep.
She's checking in.
Asha Bana. She's checking in. And then we have Sister Kwamada Yahawada. Hey.
Don't be messing up these sisters' name now. Tell him he gonna get in trouble.
Out of Chicago.
Tell him, Shawty, he gonna get in trouble messing up folks' names now.
Your sister didn't mean to mess up your name, but she checking in out of Chicago, so she already there for the fire weekend. She just gotta show up.
She'll see you when you get there. You're gonna get her name right now.
Yeah.
Who else we got?
We got Shalaki Allah.
You said Shiyaki Allah. He out of Canada too, right?
Yeah.
Another brother out of Canada.
Shalak, no, I think Shalak's out of Pittsburgh, no?
Shalak, okay, out of Pittsburgh. Okay. Shalaki Allah, where you from, Doc? What camp you out of? Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Youngstown? I don't know.
Cleveland, UPK.
Out of Cleveland. All right. Cleveland in the house, y'all.
Every time I hear a brother from Cleveland, so I'd be like, Cleveland, definitely in the house.
He watched too much TV back in the day, y'all. Just forget it, brother. Just forget it, brother.
So, sir, where you want to start at?
Yeah, if I could, Ahabwan, could you grab Revelations 18 and verse 4? Because what Mashah was saying is heavy. And it's something that, you really start to learn as a young man coming into this school. It's how to completely separate yourself from this society. You know what I mean? And it's the root of us, coming out of this captivity and having something great for ourselves as a people. If you could read that, Ahabwan.
You said Revelations chapter 18 and verse 4.
Come.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
God, come out of her, my people. We don't have to celebrate July 4th. Understand? We got our own barbecue coming up. That shit. That was damn near on. I can't say it was as good as Passover, Salakia, but last year in Detroit, that was, the most glorious celebration. One of the most glorious celebrations I've ever been at.
Oh, you was at the Midwest 5 weekend when we had it here in Detroit?
Come, sir. I was there last year.
Yeah, getting that fish straight out the water.
Yep.
Cleaning it, putting it on the grill.
Man, I saw that fish being brought out the water right to the grill.
Go ahead.
Yeah, something the generals always say is, one of the first things you can do as a people to really come out of this place is to stop voting. You know what I mean?
What?
To stop voting.
You absolutely right.
You know what I mean? And as we vote, every 4 years, or you're voting for whoever it is to be in office, you're really putting your trust in this nation and society to do something better for you and better for your people.
And if I could, real quick, you're doing more than putting your trust. When you decide to vote, one, you showing the Most High that you don't trust Him.
Right.
You showing Christians that you're still falling for the bullshit that they teach. And you're teaching your children to trust their oppressors. Listen to what you're doing now. You're trusting your oppressor to fix any problems that oppression has caused you. Go ahead, Abawan.
If I may, sir, that what's one of the deepest things to me about voting is that the so-called leaders of Israel, which are these Christian pastors, you heard I said so-called, which are the Christian pastors, because the pastors is the ones supposed to lead us. The pastors is going out telling you to vote, and then you got a man on trial right now for doing some very disgusting things. He the one that told you to vote or die. So our leadership, which is supposed to be our pastors,
out there.
supposedly. I'm talking about Mr. P. Diddy.
Vote right. P.
And
Diddy.
So the spiritual leaders are in cahoots with not only the government, but with the nasty things that's going on at these freak offs, and they telling you to vote or die.
Okay. What you got to say to that, Shaywan?
Yeah, what I would say to that is it all ties together, and just the spirit we have as a people, in loving America. You know what I mean? Loving America, loving its sin, loving the things that it's given us, the crumbs that they've given us, and that we've accepted as a people. It's really sad to see that, in 2025, so many of our people have just kind of laid down and died.
And here's why that happened. If I could jump in there, get me Jeremiah 23. And the preachers are the reason why. I was watching a show on YouTube, and this is talking about somebody named Waters, and they got Trouble the Waters and this and that. And he was talking about this AME church, African Methodist Episcopal Church, down around D.C. The judge awarded them $1 million from the Proud Boys for burning down the flag. And I'm at the same time I'm watching Jamal Bryant keep popping up on TV talking about boycott Target. And what they both have done is thrown money up there in people's faces, And so if you boycott Target, you're going to, and you're successful, you're going to make Target do what you want them to do, and therefore that's going to happen. You sue the Proud Boys, you get $1 million, and they supposedly are going to pay you. And this has been the preachers. This has been the preachers' way of, how can I put it, hoodwinking us, bamboozling us. This has been the preacher's way of tricking us into believing that we've done something, or we are doing something that's greatly significant. And it didn't happen when Martin King was alive. It didn't happen when Malcolm X was alive. You keep going back. It was who that fellow that said go back to Africa had the Star Line. Who was the brother? Was it Marcus Garvey? Yeah, Marcus Garvey. It's the same. This is the same playbook. You understand what I'm saying? When it comes to preachers and keeping you inundated in the American way. Go down around about the 24th verse of Jeremiah 23.
Come on, if I may, sir. And what's so heavy about you saying that this is the same playbook, right?
It's the same playbook.
Us as Americans, right? Not us being Americans, but the American people.
Hey, Shaywan, I'm gonna go tell him don't include me in that.
The American people are
the police know I'm not
very fond of the sports, especially baseball and football. Right? And the thing about it is, in football, if a play don't work, you trash that damn play and you grab another play.
You throw it out.
Why are we as black people? Why are we still following the same plays that didn't work for us? You watch football. If you can't run up the middle, throw the goddamn ball.
You. That's why we're going into scripture to answer that question. It's around the Jeremiah 23, around the 24th verse. What you got? It's talking, and down there it say these are preachers that are lying. Call them liars. False prophets. He call them liars, and it has something in there.
Come on, sir.
25, sir. I got it. 25.
Right.
Yeah, verse 25.
This is Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 25.
Yes.
I have heard what the prophet said,
Uh-huh.
that prophesies lies in my name.
That do what?
Prophesies lies in my name.
Shayawam, you understand what the Bible say these preachers are doing? Say that again.
I have heard what the prophet said, that prophesies lies in my name.
They're prophesying lies in the name of the Most High.
Yep.
You see that? And that's why we are still mixed up in the head. We've been bamboozled. We've been hoodwinked. You understand? Because the people we grew up, I'm talking about when we were babies, when we were still in the bassinet. You understand? We were taught then that the preacher man, the black preacher man, was the man to trust in the Americas. And when I say the Americas, we got Canada, the top part of North America, United States of America, the central part of North America, and then we got what? Mexico, which is the southern parts of North America. And then we got all of South America and all of Central America. And the one thing all of them have in common is some type of damn preacher. That's what keeps all of us. No, I don't think anything, there's no other one thing of one person you can look at that keep all of us locked in as a people, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, no matter what part of the continent we exist on, than preachers. Like I say, right now, Jamal Bryant is making a resurgence, right? He out of Atlanta, because he's talking about a Target boycott. No, he's doing it again. And he's being covered by public broadcasting. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, by PBS. PBS is covering it on that. Just like PBS covered Dr. King. You see what I'm saying? Martin Luther King. As we look at this 4th of July, it's not a matter that the people are dumb. It's not a matter, it's that the people have been inundated with Christianity for so long by their own people, by the men who profess to lead them. Now go up to the first part of Jeremiah 23. You lost the whole picture, Doc. Go up to the first part of Jeremiah 23.
Kind on kind, sir.
Now, and the reason I'm asking him to do that is because I don't want the people to take my word for it, Shayawan. When he read this, you break this down, if you could, for the people. Can you do that? Come.
This is Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe! Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
God, like the Most High says, woe. And what woe means is death and destruction be unto the pastors. And what these pastors have specifically done is they have literally destroyed and scattered the children of Israel. They have destroyed and scattered blacks, Hispanics, and indigenous people. And there is a penalty that the Most High has for that. There's a penalty that the Most High has for leading God's children as sheep to the slaughter. When we turn and we follow, Puff Daddy, when we follow Martin Luther King and his dream, when we follow Kemet and Nature Boy and Polite and all these different ideologies that oppress us, like when you read through the Bible, what the Most High constantly tells you is to love yourself and love his people. That's the message in the book. to obey God and keep his commandments. And all those commandments surround loving yourself, about how to get along with one another, how to resolve conflict, how to be clean and not have disease run rampant in our neighborhood, how not to catch sexually transmitted diseases, how to have healthy marriages and relationships, how to run a healthy nation. That's what all these laws, statutes, and commandments are about. And you have pastors that go around and tell you to worship white Jesus, that tell you the laws are done away with, that tell you it's okay for a man to lay down with a man. When we follow these different ideologies,
hold up. You giving some good examples, but these pastors say it's okay to celebrate the 4th of July.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. To tell you it's okay to go get you some fireworks and all of that. Pastor if I could, I'm gonna give it right back to you. Pastor tell you it's okay that you raise so much hell with your husband that he don't want to be in the house with you anymore, or with your father, that he don't want to be in the house with you anymore, and that way you can do whatever the hell you want to do, sister. That's what pastors teach you. Okay, go ahead.
God, sir. And it's so just that when you put yourself in a position of leadership and you decide to say, I'm going to take on the responsibility and the role of healing Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous. You take on that role where you say, I'm going to be a good example to you, on how to better yourself. And then you turn around and have everybody that's following you addicted to drugs, addicted to coke. The highest rate of divorce is in Christianity. You got women aborting their babies. You're following all these different Christmas and Valentine's Day and 4th of July, teaching your children to be selfish and spoiled, celebrating their birthdays. When you're destroying the children of God and you set yourself up as a leader, the Most High says there's a punishment for that. And not just any punishment, but death and destruction. Like there is a heavy penalty. Salaki, sir?
Go ahead.
If I may, sir, and what's so heavy about what you're saying is that the term woe, and, I grew up in the Christian church. With me growing up in the Christian church, when this scripture was read to me, right, because usually Christian church don't go this far into the Old Testament. But when this scripture was read to me, the pastor broke it down as, it just means be careful of. When I didn't learn that woe meant death and destruction.
Say that again.
Be careful. Watch out for these pastors, because I'm not one of them type of pastors. Then he get to shout and be like, I wish this nigga would shut up. But he gets out there and he puts on his theatrics and he tell you that this woe just mean be careful, because it's some pastors out here that may lead you astray, right? The Bible say woe to the pastor. It didn't say which the denomination of church. It said woe to all of them.
Oh, he didn't say woe to the Pentecostal.
It didn't say woe to the Pentecostal, woe to the coaching, woe to the Baptist. It said woe to the pastors. That's all of them.
And what does woe mean?
Death and destruction.
To
all of them.
So is it all right to say that's one of the things we want to bring out to all the people that go to the Christian church? Death and destruction is coming to your pastor and you too, if you keep following him according to the scriptures. Is that right, Shaiwan?
No, Constantly. And if I could, there's a video I sent, Habawan, just kind of showing the judgment that the Most High can take on a people. It's in there's a link I sent you that says Bing videos, Bing.com videos. If you could play that real quick.
Keep one eye outside.
Okay.
Because when you read through the Bible, you read some of the judgments that the Most High has done. Like the Most High has sent bears to kill people. The Most High will send a lion to kill you.
He
The
sent
Most High will rain.
them to kill children now.
Yeah, kind of concept. You understand? Like,
I got to hear, sir.
yeah, go ahead and play that.
Taking scenes overnight in North Dakota as several people captured video of tornadoes near Bismarck. Wow. The National Weather Service logging 9 preliminary twisters in the state. Just some of the severe weather across the country at the start of this weekend. Driving wind and rain tearing apart trees in Tennessee.
Well, it broke the tree.
And setting off a spectacular lightning display in Atlanta that also included torrential downpours, strong wind, and hail, complicating travel plans going into the holiday week. Thunderstorms forcing an hours-long ground stop at Atlanta's airport. The FAA even having to evacuate the tower for a time because of high wind. Delta's nearly
like you know how many planes have fallen out the sky this last year?
I haven't been counting. I've been laughing a lot, but I ain't been counting.
Good night. Like when it says woe to the pastors, don't think you're above the Most High sending a lightning bolt down on a plane and crashing that plane into the ground. You understand? Like the destruction that comes from the Most High. You read in the book of Genesis, he flooded the entire earth, minus 8 people. You understand? Death and destruction, it's not a light thing. You know, like
if I could real quick, we pray a prayer at least every Sabbath service. We pray this prayer, and it's found in Psalms 38. Salakia, Psalms 83. They call that dyslexia up here in Detroit, you know. Yeah, but it's Psalms 83, and I'm gonna go down to verse 13, and this is what it say in the English. O Yahweh, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, as the flame setteth the mountains on fire, so persecute them with thy tempests, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. Those storms that the brother's talking about, those tornadoes he just sent that clip to, all that is from the Bible. Help me out on this. Help me with this. That is from the Bible.
If I could, sir, you know, it like that's so heavy when it says that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh. Like we're sitting here in 2025.
All right.
And America believes they have the greatest technology on earth. And you just saw in that video where they're running out of their high towers, their planes are shut down. You would think this is some of their greatest technology. But because the Most High is sending a hurricane or a tornado, you can't do shit. And you can't help but sit there and think, like, no matter what it is I want to try and accomplish on this earth, if the Most High wants to shut it down, there's nothing I can do. a simple windstorm can stop all my plans.
That's
I can send a heat storm, a heat wave to shut down anything that it is you want to do. You know what I mean? And you would be foolish not to look to the sky and be like, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth.
Over all the earth.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing you can do. And so when it says woe to the pastors, like that idea of, oh, it's not a big deal, I just gotta stay away from this pastor, or maybe I should stop listening to him all the time. It's okay if I stop by his church, once a year for Easter. Like that ideology, coming right out of Christianity, to think that Salakia, that the Most High is a bitch, like that we can just do whatever it is we want. And
you said they must think the Most High is a pup.
It's a lot, cuz.
They think the Most High is soft.
That's right.
They think he's soft. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
I just want to clarify that now.
That's exactly it. So it was the only word that could come to my mind. So you know what I mean? But that idea of that princess looking white Jesus is gonna come out the sky hugging everybody. See, I seen articles popping up where they got clouds of white Jesus over Catholic churches, and people are saying, "Oh, look, he's watching us."
Wait a minute, they got a cloud of white Jesus.
There's some articles with some cloud, like he has his arms out, like he's ready to hug everybody, and they're saying, "Oh, look, Jesus is watching over us." Like,
all right,
all right,
that's what they see, huh? That's what they see.
If I may, one more thing. There was a brother I was just talking to that said something that I thought was heavy, but he had gone to Niagara Falls, and he was saying it was so loud near Niagara Falls that you couldn't hear anything. And the scriptures say that, Christ's words were like as loud as many waters. I'm paraphrasing. You know what I mean? And it's like to have that image in your head that of what it's like standing beside something like Niagara Falls, seeing the water just pour down, and it's so loud and thunderous. To have that idea that this is the depiction of Christ versus some white boy who's soft spoken, dainty. You know what I mean? That image has destroyed our people. But I'm just saying it to say that the Most High is not a man to play with. And he's shown that throughout the whole book. From Genesis to Revelations. He is known for, what do they call it? A mass murderer, if you want to say.
When the Most High take them out, he'll take them all out at the same time now. He ain't going to just take you one out at a time. You know what I'm saying? If you look at just what's happened, I'm going to say just here in Michigan, little tiny stuff that happened, and it's 3 or 4 dead at this time, 3 or 4 dead over here. If it's a big thing, then it's 12 or 13 gone. And that's all over the United States, all over the world even. Let an earthquake happen. How many he take out at a time?
Everybody.
2,500. He'll take them out. He'll take them out 2,500 at a time, easy. But the Christian preachers don't teach that. You got some other one?
Sir, I was going to say that the Most High, when he goes to take him out, look what happened with Aaron and Moses. Opened up the ground, swallowed up people.
That was about them people stealing that stuff when they went and beat them people, and then my man kept the stuff and put it up under his tent. That was one. His whole family got swallowed up. Mm-hmm. There was another case that he swallowed up. And your point is well taken, is that the Most High, like the scriptures say, let me get to the right part.
If I may, while you looking,
men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
If I may, sir, even with Job's children, he swallowed them all up at one time, all his cattle, everything.
All of Job,
everything, right? And Job was I believe the scripture says Job was an upright and perfect man.
He was a perfect man.
You know what I'm saying?
But he had some badass kids. he had some badass kids.
So birthday celebrate kids.
Yeah, I'm not trying to even be insensitive. because we all got kids, you know.
Mhm.
But we at the same time, it shows you it's important to teach our children right. If Shah Yuan was teaching his children, and I done met him, Mashah and all of them, you know, I done met them.
You notice you only said Mashah?
Yeah, that's the only one I know. That's the only one I know my name right now. I can't the rest of them. But if he was to teach them it's okay to have birthdays, if he taught them that it was okay to celebrate Christmas, if he taught them it was okay to celebrate Thanksgiving, to celebrate the 4th of July, then he would be doing his children one of the worst disservices you could do to anybody, because he's teaching them to disobey the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Let's keep it simple. The only reason we are in captivity and we remain in captivity is that enough of us are not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You agree with that, Shaiwan?
I don't concert. If I could.
Go ahead.
You know, the Most High killed Ezekiel's wife.
Whoa, wait. Pull that.
Because he didn't want to go out and teach. Imagine when it says woe to the pastors. Imagine you go out and teach that it's okay to celebrate the 4th of July.
Right.
That destruction that you have coming to you is going to be insane. So, like, you're gonna say something, other one?
Right. I was gonna say that's a hell of a thing to point out, that the Most High. Now Ezekiel, he ain't no little bitty prophet. He wasn't. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't no little tiny prophet over in the corner somewhere. You see what I'm saying?
God.
Ezekiel was a pretty major fella in his day. You find that?
It says something about he took her out with a stroke.
Yeah, he killed some place around. He killed her with a stroke. And you know what? Since Trump can say they don't know what the fuck they doing, I'm not going with that unalive stuff. I'm not softening my I'm gonna speak the way I speak. And if one of the brothers over me check me, then I'll change back. But
if I may, sir.
You got it?
I understand what you was gonna say, but can we ask about that first before you say what you're gonna say?
I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna call this some type of prejudice, racism, or something. If they decide they want to censor me because of the way I speak, when they let the president of the United States get on, watch this, TV over the air. He wasn't just on internet. He was on regular TV, which is controlled by the FCC, the Federal Communication. And he said that they've been fighting a long time in referencing Israel and Iran. He said they don't know what the fuck they doing. So,
if I may, sir, he also said on regular TV that Haiti was a shithole country.
That's right. He said Haiti was a shithole country. So I'm, I'll get a call. I'm a con, I don't want con. But damn Trump and his FCC. You find that scripture?
Con, I don't want con, sir.
Watch this. And Shah Yawam, the reason I'm asked the brother to find the scripture is, it's people out there that will not believe that the Most High, unalive, I said I wasn't going to do that, killed one of his prophets' wives. And you said it, and I can't let you be a lie. I'm going to go in the Bible and find where you're talking about it. Go ahead.
This is Ezekiel chapter 24, verse 15. Also, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, verse 16, Son of man, behold, I take away from thee the desire of thine eye.
The Most High said he going to take away from you the desire of your eye. Is that what he said?
Con, I don't want con.
The desire of your eye. In other words, this is something you love. You you look at that girl and your foot just start going real fast or something like that. You see what I'm saying? This is what this girl, Ezekiel's wife, at least in Ezekiel's eyes, was fine as frog hair.
If I may, sir.
Go ahead.
In the movie Bambi, they called it Twitter-pated.
Twitter what?
It was Twitter-pated.
Twitter-pated. Twitter-pated.
Sorry, you want to know because he watched it recently.
Bro, it's like,
yeah, you got me with that Twitter-pated. One of them grandkids gonna let me know when I get to the house. All right. But the point is the Most High took her out. Go ahead, read.
I take away from thee the desire of thine eye with a stroke.
With a what?
Stroke.
With a what?
Stroke.
With a stroke. You know what causes a stroke? Something in your blood vessels block the flow of blood to and from your heart, to and from your brain. And guess what? You die. Now you go through a little bit of agony before that. If they can get to it, the Most High may let you live. But if not, you die. He said he took Ezekiel's wife out of this world with a stroke. Keep reading.
Ooh-wee. Yet neither shalt thou mourn nor weep.
Now hold up. This is why Shayawam is on here. This is why Abawan is here. This is why I come on here. This is what we learned from the first day we came into the truth under commanding Junior Hana. We got a job to do. Nothing and nobody will the Most High allow to get in the way of that. Are you understanding that? Even when Shayawam is busy in Detroit doing some work and his kids running around here, there's another brother watching them, and if they step wrong, whether he tells Shayawam or not, that brother going to correct them. He's going to correct them with love because he understands even the babies need to know how to what? Obey the laws of the Most and the statutes of the Most High, or what? They are in jeopardy of woe. They are in jeopardy of destruction. Is that right, Shayawam? Help me out.
Yeah, cut on concept. You know that's exactly it. And we really have to raise all of our people up to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, because without it, we see the hell that we're living in today. You know, we see all the destruction that's in our communities today. And so that's why Ezekiel was out, you know, told to do the job that he was told to do. You know, and when you said, you know, we can't put anything before the Most High, that's what we really have to check, you know, for ourselves as a people. Like, you can't on the 4th of July come and say that, you know, not offending my friends, not offending my dad, not offending my mom, not offending my wife is more important than celebrating this holiday, or more important than obeying God. Because you put the 4th of July before serving God, you're going to be destroyed.
That's right.
You put your wife, you put anything in this world before the Most High, you are going to be destroyed.
That's absolutely correct.
Everything. That's the first commandment. You had brought that out on Saturday.
First commandment, Exodus 20, verse 1. I am the Lord thy God that brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other God before me.
None.
Like, if I may, sir, that sound like, you know, think about, we know that God, our God loves to floss his power, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, he
floss his power.
You've seen the tornado.
And it's, you know, how you'll put somebody on, like, nigga, remember, I'm the one to put you on. I'm the one that did this for you, I did that for you. And God said, I brought you up out of the house of Egypt, the house of bondage.
Mm-hmm.
You were slaves there, my nigga.
Slaves.
You were slaves. I brought you out of there. I brought you out of there, right? Have no other God before me, right? That's like a woman her husband them decked her out with all fine jewelry and this, that, and another thing, blah, blah, blah. And she go back with the dude that's been beating her head since she was a kid.
Right. You're absolutely right.
If I could too.
Go ahead.
And on topic, what you said, Honorable One, like when the Most High brought us out of slavery, for us in 2025 to celebrate Independence Day or July 4th of something that this country was putting together, and establishing themselves as a people, you were still a slave.
Damn right.
And the man that wrote that Declaration of Independence, he owned over 600 slaves.
Y'all listening? Y'all listening, Israel? Teach, young brother, teach.
Come on, concert. Like the Stockholm syndrome is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
And it's very sad, and really understand that you have to be sick in the mind to put your love in Independence Day.
So you saying, hey, you can't think of no other reason. He said you gotta be effed up in the head if you call yourself loving and celebrating Independence Day in America. It's something wrong with you. Something, and what they show them, very, very wrong with you.
Sir. And what's so heavy about what Shari wanted to say, sir, is that 1776 when the Declaration of Independence was written.
Well, yeah, it was about that time.
You was nothing. You was nothing, black man, Native American man, Hispanic man. You didn't become 3/5 of a nigga until 1787.
Right.
You was 3/5 of a nigga then.
So
and think about it. Till this day, how we become a whole nigga?
No, you ain't no whole nigga today. Not according to them. You are not a whole. No, I'm gonna tell you, the only whole niggas they respect in America are the members of the ISUPK and the Commander General.
Those some whole niggas.
There's some whole niggas right there. Yeah, them 100% niggas right there. They understand that. The America understand that. I'm watching, and I'm gonna show you something. This is what's crazy. While we still, 5, 7, 8 years ago, when I first came into the truth, this is something I learned to teach. Tell your people don't celebrate the 4th of July. This, don't be like the people in the land that you go into. This is something very basic. This is milk teaching, not to celebrate the 4th of July. And here we are, 2025, having to teach the same thing. And this is not just teaching the same thing. After all the disasters that befall our people have befallen them, of all the other stuff we also disobey the Most High on. We tell you don't celebrate birthdays. No, you want to give a block party for the birthday and 6 people get unalived and taken to the hospital or taken to the morgue.
If I may, sir,
go ahead.
The city of Detroit, the city itself put a ban on having block parties if you do not have a permit because of what you're saying.
The number of young people that get unalived, the city of Detroit say, okay, if you're going to have a block party, you need to come down here and get a permit. What will the permit do? Let them know exactly where the damn party at.
So we can send some police.
So they can have the police around there real quick. To do whatever the police going to do. But even the city of Detroit is seeing that when the Israelite residents of Detroit celebrate these bogus holidays, they come up dead, just like they did in Europe. Not Europe, but Egypt. When Pharaoh found out that Joseph could read dreams. You see, he said, "Well, I want, I got some fellas here. What's going on?" So we tell the baker, "This gonna happen to you." He tell the wine, the guy who get the king's a wine cup. One of them lost their head. Lost their head on the what? It was the king's birthday. What was they celebrating in Jerusalem? What were they celebrating in Jerusalem when John the Baptist was pulled out of prison?
The king's birthday.
The king's birthday.
That's right.
You understand? Every time in the Bible we see some birthdays being celebrated, we see Israelites showing up dead.
That's right.
Coming up dead. And you can keep, here's another thing. I ain't no Israelite, I'm an American. Dumbass. Stop it. Go ahead.
If I may, sir, one of my favorite television shows is First 48.
First 48.
And every time, I promise y'all, maybe 80% of the shows is a birthday party, somebody unalive. There's a birthday party, there's a shooting. There's a birthday party, there's a robbery, and a shooting.
Especially if it involves us.
Damn right.
You see that? So imagine this 4th of July, y'all finna have these barbecues. You're going down, you got the grandkids coming out. I'm gonna get messed with the old people. You got the grandkids coming out. Because it's been hot, what you say, we're gonna take them down to the Lower Huron Metropolitan Park. You see what I'm saying? That's where they used to take us. It's a park with 2 swimming pools in Lower Huron Metropolitan Park. And then you're going to be calling me later on in the evening of the 4th of July saying this nephew or that nephew drowned in the pool. Mm-hmm. You got no business celebrating the 4th of July in the first place. You see what I'm saying? You give me that scripture that said, when I bring you into the land that I'm going to bring you, and you come into the people that's around about you, don't do what the hell you see them doing. Go ahead, Shaywan.
John, so just, after that, I want to pull up some of the information I got just going into Independence Day. But let's break down that scripture first.
That should be someplace over around Deuteronomy.
Oh, Select, I can bring that up for you if you want. All right, so you got it, Abawan?
No, I don't got it yet. I'm searching right. I think it's Deuteronomy 18.
Might be before that.
My equipment over here crashing. Give me a second.
See if you can pull it up, Shaywan.
I think it's 18:9 or something like that, sir.
I got it here in Deuteronomy 18
and 9
and verse 9.
Yeah, read what you got.
It says, when thou art come into the land,
when you come into America, go ahead,
which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations.
Don't do after the abominations of the Americans. What are we talking about? Don't celebrate your birthday. Don't celebrate New Year's. Don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Don't celebrate April Fools. Don't celebrate Memorial Day. These are all abominations to the Most High. Don't celebrate Independence Day, what we call the 4th of July. Keep reading.
Verse 10. There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire.
Okay, go ahead and drop that. But we are not to do what the people around us do, even though they held us in slavery. Are you hearing us, Israel? You're not to do that. This whole Shaywan going to break down some of this stuff he found on 4th of July. And since this is y'all next great holiday, you see what I'm saying? Go ahead and break it down, Shaywan.
Yeah, so that's a heavy verse, and it's almost it is an interesting thought that I have sometimes, where it's like we were brought into a land and sold to our enemies as a punishment for the things that we were doing.
Right.
And as we start, getting stripped down of the things that we're doing, we decided as a people, following pastors like Martin Luther King,
right,
that integration into this society was the proper choice.
We're going to integrate.
And that is furthest from what the Most High wanted for us to do.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can picture punishing your child for doing something wrong. And it's like, imagine you're punishing your child because, say, he won't stop putting hands on his brother.
Okay.
And as you're punishing him for that, he turns around once the punishment is done and starts stealing toys and items and property from his brother.
Okay.
And it's like, you didn't learn your lesson that what you were doing against your brother was wrong. And maybe instead of learning from another people how to treat your brothers and your sisters, maybe you should reflect on your actions and say what it is that the Most High is trying to teach me.
That's right.
Because learning the abominations of another nation was not the way. They have monogamy as a tradition in their society. They have the worship of hundreds of different gods in their society. They have drug use and drug abuse as a part of their society.
That's right.
They have, like Revelation says, every foul spirit known to man a part of their society.
Exactly.
And what we need to do as a people is say, okay, I see how my marriage is messed up. I see how my children are messed up. Let me come back to what the Most High is telling me to do. Okay. He's telling me to forgive my brothers. He's telling me not to throw my sisters away. Mm-hmm. He's telling me not to lie to my wife. He's telling me not to smoke weed every day.
That's right.
These are the things that we got to come back to, not learning the culture of another nation. And that's exactly what July 4th is about.
July 4th is about the culture of another nation.
And
here's the kick in the face. Here's the kick in the face. What they're actually, what they're celebrating in their celebration, they're celebrating that you fall as the lowest class of people in their society. Mm-hmm. They celebrate so much because they know you're going to clean up the park when the picnic is over.
If I may, sir.
Go ahead.
What's so heavy about what Officer Shayaran just said, sir, and what popped up in my mind when he spoke about the smoking of the weed, about the 100 different gods, and about following other nations. You know, one thing he didn't say was dreadlocks, right? We understand that's another nation's culture, but these East Indians, because that's what popped up in the Patels, what popped up in my head, right? We'll follow, our people as a whole will follow their culture, but they don't follow their culture completely. They pick and choose the different cultures that they want to follow, because I ain't seen one black man go take a cow shit bath. All right. I ain't seen a nigga go get pissed on by a horse or a cow, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen, come on, if you're gonna do something, go get in this cow shit. And if you're gonna disobey God, you might as well get in the cow shit. You might as well let the horse piss on you. You might as well, because if you're gonna follow these other nations and not your own culture, that's all you're worth is cow piss and shit.
True. Go ahead, Shayawan.
Yeah, let's if I could, Abawan, grab that article I sent.
The article or the video, sir?
The article from Britannica. the one on Independence Day. Just to kind of briefly summarize what Independence Day is, right? You know, because, you know, sometimes people might be watching this class thinking that, you know, we're just making shit up. You know what I mean? We're just speaking out our ass. But, you know, this is from Britannica, you know, just defining and explaining what Independence Day is about. And it's, you know, and it goes, you know, in line with something I was saying with everything that we've been saying. But that idea that, you know, our people really got to be sick to be celebrating this. You know what I mean? Like, even looking at those children there, you know, they're you can tell they're as patriotic as could be.
Just to look at the picture.
But look, if you look at the picture, you see the Edomites, and it looked like you got a little Moabite over here. They in front of the niggas.
Well, you know, since you put it that way, I'm gonna say here's the one thing that these different unholy days of America has proven about the children of Israel. You ain't gonna out celebrate them on nothing. We the celebrating this folk in the world, especially when it's somebody else's culture.
Yes,
and not our own. That's crazy. But what you call that? What type of syndrome you call that, Shaywan?
Stockholm syndrome.
That's that Stockholm syndrome, man.
Now, if I may,
go ahead.
I looked up that Stockholm syndrome. Do you know where it comes from, sir? It comes about where it was some people held captives in a bank. Some guys came in to rob the bank.
Patty Hearst.
Yeah, held captive in the bank.
Patty Hearst.
And these individuals that was held hostage in this bank,
right,
eventually fell in love with their captors.
That's.
Excuse me.
I don't know. I would go as far as say fell in love.
Well, think about it.
What they did is. It ain't that far off. It ain't that far off. I'll let you stay with it. It ain't that far off. You know, I'm just an old guy, right? And I know that Stockholm syndrome is all about a captive person because of one or two captors treat them halfway nice a little bit, that they now develop a friendship, a liking to their captive. And it's so strong that when somebody tries to rescue them, they'll defend the captor and try to stay in their captivity, even when they're being rescued, because their mind has been just being a little bit kind to them as the one that's holding sway over them. If you're kind, then now you're gonna be the one that they fall for, and they'll do what you ask them to do, and they'll, like you say, fall in love with you. So go ahead and read what you ask for. Go ahead, Shaiwan.
If I may, really quick, this is the definition of Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome is a coping mechanism to a captive or abusive situation. People develop positive feelings towards their captors or abusers over time. This condition applies to situations including child abuse, coach-athlete abuse,
athlete abuse,
relationship abuse,
and
sex trafficking.
And don't forget sexual abuse. They didn't put it in there, but the sexual abuse is one of the main ones.
If I may, sir, he said child abuse. Would that incorporate child sexual abuse?
No. I'm still going to insist that you include them separately, because some children are never abused sexually, but get the shit beat out of them continuously. And they can't escape the person that's beating the hell out of
And you
them.
end
Well,
up-
the other one is not getting beat at all, but every night when she or he lay down and go to sleep, he know 20 minutes later he finna have a rod put up in him, or some female sticking something in him. It's totally different.
Okay.
It's totally different. So you can't lump them together,
Okay.
and you create different type of monsters from the different type of abuse. You understand?
Okay.
You create different type of monsters, and I think if we had time to go through a whole psychology class on that, you will find that to be true. Go ahead, Shayawan. Was you saying something else?
The only thing I would add is that understand that black man, Hispanic man, and indigenous man, we went through all of these during slavery.
That's right.
Every single one of these.
Okay.
Let's let's read that, one. What you got?
Colonel Klein, sir. This is the Britannica.com, sir. Independence Day. You want me to jump here to Independence Day?
Come.
Independence Day. In the United States, the annual celebration of nationhood held on July 4th. It commemorates the passage of the Declaration of Independence by the Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776.
1776, when all of us are still slaves, being child abused, being sex trafficked, sexually abused, physically abused.
All that going on.
All that. Keep reading.
This document announced the separation of the 13 North American colonies from Great Britain.
Great Britain. This is their society. This is their nation that they're celebrating. Keep reading.
In 1870, the U.S. Congress made Independence Day an unpaid holiday for federal workers. And in 1938, it became a paid federal holiday.
Okay.
Also called the 4th of July, the holiday is celebrated across the United States with parades, fireworks, shows, picnics, concerts, and other festivities. Independence Day is also notable for its display of patriotism.
Its display of what?
Patriotism.
I wanted to read that. Let me see. I have that pulled up.
Oh, I can pop it if you want me to.
The definition of patriotism.
Patriotism. Listen to this. This is crazy. Go ahead and read when you get it.
Come. Okay, patriotism. This is the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Patriotism. It says the love for or devotion to one's country.
Is that saying somebody's country becomes their God?
Damn. Constant.
You see that? Your country becomes your God. If you're a patriot, read that again, Shayawan.
Khan. The love for or devotion to one's country.
The love for or devotion to one's country. Go ahead.
You know, something that this is one of my personal favorites of something that I've taught my children to do. And it's to never stand for the national anthem. You know what I mean? Like, you sit there every day in school and pledge your allegiance to a nation, to a country, to the flag of America, to the Canadian flag. And, you know, you read in the book of Daniel where Daniel said not to do this. You know what I mean? Not to sing the song, I'm paraphrasing, to sing the song to another nation.
Right.
About that in the book of Daniel. And when you sit there and give your devotion to a country, you are not devoting yourself to the God of the Bible.
That's true.
You understand? And read that again, Ahaba one.
Kind other one kind, sir.
Where
It's
it said
Independence Day.
Yeah.
Independence Day is also notable for its display of patriotism.
This is something that's notable come the 4th of July. Something to pay attention to, something that it is noticeable when people are out at these different festivities. When they're
If you could, can you scroll down to that first picture that was up there when you first got to that page?
With the kids, sir?
Yeah, with the kids.
That's it.
You see that picture right there? That denotes patriotism. The blue dress with the white stars, the white and red striped dress this other girl is wearing. Somebody might have on all red, white, and blue. Look at the hats. All of that, what they call that, I can't think of it. That's why I hate getting old. You forget things that you already knew.
If I may, sir.
Go ahead.
I want you to notice that you see it look like the little Moabite and the two little Edomites. They got on just white and blue.
Uh-huh.
Now the other nations, this guy might be Hispanic. I don't know. You really can't tell in this picture. But these two little young sisters, they got on the red, and the red is supposed to represent the blood.
Well,
right?
Watch this. It's not that deep when it comes to patriotism. This is a paradigm. This is a paradigm. I'm going to show you what I mean when I say a paradigm. If I go into a stadium and I see almost everybody, this is what they got on. They got on what we call cleats. They got on these pants that come up a little bit and some socks that goes all the way up their pants. And they got these gloves in their hand. I see bats laying around. I see these little square things out. There's 3 of them out there. Then they got one shaped like a house at another spot. Just looking at that picture, I'm seeing a paradigm of what?
Of what could potentially be a baseball game.
Baseball. However, there's one fella out there, for some damn reason, he got this big brown ball. He wearing gym shoes and got on some shorts. You know what I'm saying? And he got on a tank top looking t-shirt. Is he in the right place? Why not?
He playing a different game.
His paradigm, what he's wearing, says that he should be someplace else.
Okay.
He does not fit into the paradigm of this baseball thing. What you see oftentimes when it comes to patriotism is they all buy into the paradigm. Show you what I mean. Real simple one. If I go downtown Detroit right now, and I see a bunch of white folks outside, a few black ones, they got on green hats, they drinking green beer, and they talking real stupid. What paradigm, where have I just walked into?
It's possibly a St. Patrick's Day celebration.
St. Patty's Day. These things, what you see, the clothes, the hats, the songs that's being sung, all of this is a paradigm, or it represents the images that cause your brain to conclude this is what this thing is about. You understand? So what you see there in them children is the paradigm of patriotism in America. That makes sense, Shayawan?
Yeah, come on, concert. That's crystal clear. And you got to understand that Blacks, Hispanics, and Indigenous, you find our culture in the Bible. We had a sister come into the school a couple weeks ago, and she was reading historically what Israelite woman would wear. reading it in the Zondervan Bible dictionary. And as she's reading it, it's almost like there's these light bulbs going off of, this is amazing. Like I've found my culture. And these are the things that we got to come back to as a people. Everything we do in the ISUPK is taking back our culture.
That's right.
It's why it's so disgusting to see 100 men outside wearing, dressed in all purple with some purple dresses with fringes on the bottom of it. Like,
disgusting to see one, but you're right.
You know what I mean? There was somewhere that I can't remember where I was reading it, but it was in our culture for all of us to wear different things.
I see what you're saying. You're saying they dressed alike. They all wearing the same thing as if they are a team.
Yeah,
as if they're a basketball, baseball, football team. You saying in the scriptures, our culture said, while we all wear mitres, we all may wear holy garments, we all may have fringes on our garments in the right place. We dress differently. Like today, I got on black and white. You see what I'm saying? I got on black and white to include. I got my black tam squared away, so I ain't ashamed to wear it no more. But you look like you wearing a mitre on your head. Is that right?
I got a war scarf on my head.
A war scarf, a mitre. That's a mitre. A war scarf is a mitre. You see, where I'm wearing a tan, but it's lawful. And is this what you're talking about?
Kind of all kinds, sir.
You see what I'm saying? We don't run around and try to look like each other.
God.
And when we do that, we know Christianity done got a hold of us. We know Christianity done got our mind.
So if I'm,
go ahead.
We may dress alike or dress in our culture, but it's not a uniform like you see with the guys that wear the purple mini skirts, like you see with the baseball teams and the basketball teams. So yes, as Israelite men that's in the ISUPK, we follow our culture to a T because this is what the generals taught us to do, right? But even when you see us out on the street, we may have similar garments on, but we're not uniform, right? You'll see us marching. The only time you see us uniform when we all out there, we got our Hebrew Academy covers on, right? Then you go say these guys got on the same jackets, but then our pants and our boots are different. You don't see that with fake Israelite groups, right? Most of the time when you see one of the bigger fake Israelite groups, they got on the same exact thing to a T, like them guys went shopping together, and after they bought their curtains, it's like, let me get one of these purple shirts with the mini skirts on.
They bought the same curtains.
They bought the same curtains.
Yeah, if I could add, that cover is like a uniform, like your job uniform. You know what I mean? That's not your daily attire per se. You know what I mean? But what we learn in the ISUPK is to be patriotic to the nation of Israel.
To Israel.
Right. Patriotic to our King Yahushua.
That's right.
Under the Most High. And that's the patriotism that we should have. Not patriot to the country that abused us for over 500 years.
You're absolutely correct. And you know why, Israel, you know why you are patriotic to this hellhole? Because of your Christian preachers, because of your Muslim preachers. That's why you are patriotic to this hellhole of what you've been taught from a baby up by preachers, by Christianity. And now here comes some grown-ass men looking like Power Rangers, telling you that the Christian church has lied and have been tricking you into disobeying the Most High. How? By obeying the holidays of this country.
Right.
You see that? Anytime you keep any holiday in this country, especially your birthday, especially the 4th of July, you thumbing your nose in the face of the Most High. And you're only going to do that so long before he unalive you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You only can do it so long. You're only going to sell so much drugs before he calls you to go to prison or become unalive. You understand? Or hurt you so bad you in the wheelchair slobbering for the rest of your life. You see, we do pay for our sins. There's a consequence for sin. Right now, today, we still pay consequences for our sin. Why you think it's so many already crazy babies born now compared to back then? Because we just keep on sinning and sinning and sinning. In Matthew, in the New Testament, Yahweh Shai and the disciples came upon a blind man. And the disciples understood this concept, and they asked Yahweh Shai a question. They say, who's sin that this man was born blind? In other words, whose sin caused this man to be born blind? Y'all ain't got that yet. That was one of the first things I got taught in the truth. That what you do now, even if you think you got away with it, you're going to pay for it next time through. That you're going to be come back into this world. And that you've been in this world before in a physical body, living through a specific time. You see what I'm saying? The Most High will not be mocked. You understand?
Yep.
He's not going to be mocked. It's going to come out his way, period. Ain't no my way or the highway. No, it's going to come out his way, period. He's going to have his way in this world so that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, are the Most High over all the earth.
Over some of the earth?
Over all the earth.
Just America?
Over all the earth.
All right, Canada included.
Over all the earth. Am I right, Shayawan?
I know what comes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? And Americans, Black Americans, Native Americans, Latina Americans, man. Walk away from the Christian church and get a chance. Get a chance. You can learn some truth if you just get away from them Christian preachers. You understand? This week, keep me up with the time. This week, today is the 30th, the last day of June. July 1st is tomorrow. So 4 days from now, it's going to be hot. I hope it rain. I pray it rain. I hope it storm. You hear me, Shayawan? I pray that we experience a storm in Detroit, man. Knock the power out. You know what I'm saying? I got some candles. You know what I'm saying? I got some batteries. I got some people got generators, but don't. And the same storm hit Canada too, wherever you at. Storm to hit.
Give him a little bit of that.
Yeah, take some of that with you. I want the same storm to hit Canada. Why? Because I want the Most High to do whatever he got to do to stop our people, to stop Israel from celebrating this dumbass 4th of July.
You know what you're saying is so heavy, sir. And you know why it's so heavy is because if our people don't stop celebrating 4th of July,
somebody's going to die.
They're going to die.
Somebody's going to die this What's the day? Is Monday,
4
Tuesday,
days.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday is the 4th.
Damn right.
You see that? Friday. Are you willing to lose your children this Friday? If you knew that the way that your children would die unless you didn't celebrate the 4th of July, would you still celebrate it?
Me personally, hell no.
Or would you still have to have that joint, that pork barbecue? Go ahead, Sean.
Sir, you know this scripture better than I do because you grew up in a similar fashion that I did. And every single one of them Christian pastors, the first thing they told you Sunday morning that the wages of sin is death. We know that not following the law, statutes, and commandments are considered sin. You know, if we go to John, it was that 1 John 3 and 4, it said transgression of the law. So celebrating these unholy days are a transgression of the law. And with you transgressing the law, you commit sin, right? Your Christian pastor tell you that the wages of sin is death, right? And if you believe that the wages of sin is death, you have to believe that celebrating these days that the Most High told us not to celebrate. He said he will not smell in our solemn assemblies, right? He said we're not smelling it, right? So if these days are unholy days and sinful, then you have to be okay with dying. Am I making a mistake?
No, you so heavy. You so right, One. And I want to keep reading this article a little bit, just on to what you're saying right now, because again, you can't make this shit up.
No, we can't make this up.
And just if you just read the next maybe 2 sentences, you're gonna see that this Independence Day was modeled after celebrating the King's birthday.
Kind
on the one kind. Independence Day is also notable for the display of patriotism, as many Americans commemorate the day by flying the American flag and dressing in the flag's color, red, white, and blue.
Keep going.
History of Independence Day. The Continental Congress has voted in favor of Independence Day for Great Britain on July 2nd, but did not actually complete the process for revising the Declaration of Independence, originally drafted by Thomas Jefferson in the consultation with fellow committee members John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and William Livingston. Until 2 days later, the celebration of the Declaration's completion was initially modeled on that of the British King's birthday.
Read that again.
That's it right there.
Read that again.
The celebration of the Declaration's completion was initially modeled on that of the British King's birthday.
So what you were saying, Habawan, about how we sit here and sin. Celebrating your birthday is a sin. Going to somebody else's birthday is a sin. That is an unholy day.
That's right.
Read about it all throughout the Bible. You understand? You read about Pharaoh's birthday, Herod's birthday. You read about Job's children, celebrating their day. These things are all through the scriptures. From beginning to end, it is so important not to have any other gods before the Most High. Not yourself, not a king, not your friend, not your dad, your mom, your auntie, your whoever it may be. You know what I mean? Donald Trump himself, you cannot worship somebody as a god.
Look, if I could, you should have said Donald Orange Man Trump, man. That whole celebration and parade in DC with the military last month. Was that last month or early this month? when he had that parade in D.C.
I know it's when you're talking about. I'm not sure if it was early this
I
month or
think it was.
late last
I
month.
think it was early this month because it fell on the weekend, and that weekend was Donald Trump's birthday,
Kind of what kind.
and that's why he. I mean, that's one of the reasons he pushed it real hard. I ain't gonna say that's the only reason, but that was something that the news outlets pointed out as being significant. That it was his birthday, and it's amazing how all the reviews from that damn thing came back as negative as I have ever heard. And quiet as it kept, I participated as a soldier in a number of military parades. You see what I'm saying, Shaywan? In a number of military parades. Been there with a gun sometime, been there with an instrument sometime of being part of the band. And it's never been as bad as that one.
I was going to ask you about that.
You know, was that?
I was going to ask you about the military when they perform their marches, how organized they are. Do you think that was a FU to Trump?
I didn't watch it real long enough, but from what I saw of what the news covered, that was garbage. That was garbage. That was an embarrassment. But Trump, he an idiot. He don't know any better. You say he don't know no better. He think that was great. That was garbage, man. And not to say that we should strive to make it better for them. We should not even participate in something like that. Right now is a good time to tell the brothers and sisters that the Hispanics, the so-called African Americans, so-called Native Americans, that if you are in this man's military, get the hell out. Because you know what? Right now, this week, you finna go do some of that. You're going to do some marching. In many different places in the United States, the Army Color Guard is going to be brought out to march. And depending on what unit you're in, you coming out there with your M16 on your shoulder, your boots shined up, and you going to march. And you going to celebrate this Independence Day. Read that part about what was it modeled after?
Another one, sir. It says that the celebration of the Declaration's completion was initially modeled on that of the British King's birthday.
You see that? And you wonder why Trump made it such a big deal for him to have the army to do a parade for him on his birthday?
Right.
This is what they do. Who is they? Anybody outside of the ISUPK. You understand? This is what they do. They don't know. They don't know nothing. They don't know a damn thing. Go ahead, help me out, Shaywan.
Yeah, concept. It's so on point. You know, they when you say they don't know a damn thing, I can't do nothing but shake my head at the foolishness, that we've taken on as a people. Like the scriptures say, children are our oppressors. You know what I mean? And Donald Trump sitting here wanting to parade himself, as the greatest man to walk the earth. It's so foolish. It's so childish.
And I tell you what, you said that way. What really throws me is that rest of the so-called leaders in America that actually go for this bullshit. Okay. I can't believe they ain't threw this clown out of office yet, man.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it. I can't. This is what Salakia. This is what gives me a semblance of belief. The Most High said, "Well, I make crooked, you can't make straight, and what I make straight, you can't make crooked."
That's right.
The Most High made him. I don't know what the hell Donald Trump is, but for one thing, he's not as straight. That's for sure.
And something heavy too that just came to mind in what you said is, this initial letter that was written, the Declaration of Independence.
Uh-huh.
You know, one of the things that it speaks on in there is about basically overthrowing a corrupt government. You know,
right. Walk heavy.
Oh,
Look, he said, walk heavy. Walk heavy now. Let me put my boots on.
You had said, you know, you were surprised that they didn't kick this idiot out yet. And
I'm surprised.
It was something that came to mind because this whole Independence Day that you know that people are celebrating today, it's based off of some ideologies that have to do with a quote unquote just and fair government.
What?
just and fair government.
Just and fair government.
No, you didn't say just and fair and government in the same sentence.
Of course, they don't understand what it is to be righteous.
They have no clue.
But
none.
You know what's so heavy about it, sir, if I may? If I may.
Go ahead.
What's so heavy about all these government counselings and procedures, right? Even in court, right? Even when you're sworn in as the president, you have to lay your hand on our history, right? You got to lay your hand on the Bible, and then they swear you into office, or they swear you into the court as a judge or a lawyer, even a defendant. If you got to testify, right? You have to lay your hand on our culture, our history, our heritage, and after you do that, you ain't got to say shit that's truthful after that.
That's the American way.
You can put your hand on that Bible and you can
lay your hand on the Bible, and then you can lie the rest of your life.
Shoot, Thomas Jefferson put his hand on that Bible and he owned over 600 slaves.
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. And was it Jefferson that had that one slave named Sally Henny?
That was Thomas Jefferson, sir.
Thomas Jefferson.
I believe that was Thomas Jefferson.
Kids back.
Right. Well, he had kids back. And you know, we a lot of time, this is how messed up it is, right? Those people really think it's a joke what they've done to the children of Israel. And if any child of Israel stand up and says something publicly about what they've done, they act like that child is the most horrendous thing that ever walked the face of the earth. But see, the Bible say, for thy perpetual hatred, pull that for me. You see, for thy perpetual hatred. They've been doing this to us since Israel. You understand? Since Egypt.
Coming out of Egypt. Shoot.
They've been doing this to us since Egypt. And along, watch this, along every place where there's a some type of marker of our history, you will see that the folks in power was doing the exact same thing that is being done to us now. You see how if you get stopped and you say, why you stop me, officer, that you may get shot in the head. You see what I'm saying? Same thing happened to us in what? Egypt. In fact, they was messing over so bad in Egypt that Moses unalived the guard that was messing over those brothers on that particular day.
Got another one, kind. So you want to
give me what you got?
Obadiah.
Give me what you got.
This is Obadiah. Chapter 1.
Chapter who?
Chapter 1.
You know it's only one chapter in Obadiah. I just want y'all to know that. I just want y'all to know that so you don't go looking for chapter 3. It's only one chapter in Obadiah. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 10.
Verse 10.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
Go a verse before that.
Kind of one kind, sir.
Salaki. I believe the verse you wanted was Ezekiel 35 and 5.
Let's try that.
Come on, so I got it here. It says, Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
Because thou has had a perpetual hatred. Now, look up the word perpetual. Because if I tell them what it means, or Shayawam tell them what it means, they're not gonna believe us. This ain't no new, just Johnny come lately type hatred.
Perpetual, never ending or
What?
changing.
What? What?
Never ending or changing.
So the folks that hate us now have always been hating us the way they've been hating us.
Never ending or
Never ending.
changing.
It started somewhere, but it ain't ended yet. They want us to think that the transatlantic slave trade is something new. What?
Never ending or changing.
That's for the perpetual hatred. Read that again. Keep reading, Sarwan.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
And he's talking to the Elamite. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
And has shed the blood of the children of Israel.
It has done what?
Shed the blood of the children of Israel.
And because you kill us at will, go ahead.
By the force of the sword in the time of their calamity.
Wait, watch this. When we should be trying, while Commander Joe and Yohana got us out here in these streets trying to rescue our brothers from drugs, from homosexuality, from Christmas, from New Year's, from the 4th of July. Read.
Okay. And shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity.
In the time of our calamity.
In the time that their iniquity had an end.
When General Commander Joe Yohana sent us out here to rescue our brothers and sisters, to lift up our voices like a wind, guess what? The time of our calamity should be drawing to an end. But no. You still gotta hate us. You got to shoot. What's his name that was in the car with his wife and daughter?
Fernando Castillo.
Fernando Castillo. He told you, I have a legal firearm in the car. I'm carrying. I can legally carry. You say good, and shot him dead.
Okay.
That's the time we living in. Right now, if our people go out here in America, any place in the United States of America, and get involved in this 4th of July celebration, there's gonna be some suffering going on. Everybody's not coming back from the 4th of July picnic with smiles and giggles.
That's heavy, sir, what you're saying.
Then go ahead.
And the reason why I bring this up, and it's not to make short or comedy of things that's going on, but you know, in our culture, we listen to rap.
Yep.
With listening to rap, you know, a lot of people's favorite Benjamite rapper said there's going to be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing.
You see what I'm saying?
And with that being said, is that's what we're seeing in the black community, because the alarms are ringing. We see the alarms are ringing, right? The lights show up, the sirens come on, they right behind you. You asking for help. Say, what about Massey?
Hold on. Ain't just alarms are ringing. You ringing the alarm. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. Is that what it says, Shayawan? Tell your people, tell his people their sins. So we are the alarms.
Damn
right.
You
understand? The alarms they're hearing when the ambulance and the police show up, it's too late. Right. It's too late at that point because they was too ignorant to listen, because somebody dulled their ears where they couldn't hear us. Somebody led them to believe that we were telling the lies when we told them that the Revelation say, "Come out of her, my people." You see what I'm saying? Who's doing that? We got to go back to Jeremiah 23:1. Woe be unto the pastors. You see? And man, that's the whole circle right there. That's going the whole circle. You want to know why there's going to be young men and women in the Israelite community dying this weekend is because Christian pastors are telling them it's okay to keep the 4th of July celebration. Go ahead.
And what's so heavy about what you said, because right here in the city of Detroit, we just had the fireworks for the 4th of July. They have it with the last Monday of the June.
And
what
happened? What happened?
What happened? Somebody got out there and got to firing multiple firearms, and people got shot.
Some people got shot. You see what I'm saying? Come on, Shah Yuam.
Salakia.
Out with this, right?
Yeah, Salakia. I have one. Could you grab Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 11 for me? You know, because what you said right there was so heavy. You know, how those people got shot. And, you know, this whole celebration today, you know, people, a lot of us are going to sit here and think that, you know, thank the government of America for this day off. You know, thank the government for giving us. Is it a paid holiday today?
Well, not today, on the 4th.
On the 4th.
On the 4th, I mean.
On the 4th, going to be a paid. So, you know, the 4th is so special. It's one of the American holidays that don't fall on the Monday.
Yeah.
See that? Most holidays in America fall on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
A particular Monday. But this one doesn't. It falls on the 4th of July. Just like Christmas falls on the 25th of December. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Another one. This is Jeremiah chapter 8 and verse 11.
Okay. That's his dyslexia kicking in now.
Yeah, I had to rewind this, sir. I had to rewind it. I had to hit the button like, This is Jeremiah chapter 8 and verse 11. For thou hast healed the hurt of Salakia. For thou hast healed the hurt of thy daughter of my people slightly.
God, so they give you the 4th of July off. They work you to the bone all year round, and here they go and give you one day off. So here's a day to celebrate someone's birthday. Let's have fireworks and firecrackers and all these different picnics, whatever it may be. Have the day off and don't worry about it. We'll pay you. We'll pay you that day. You know what I mean? Something they do in construction. They have what they call what's that called? It's like a bonus for meeting a deadline. So say your construction date, say the construction date is you got to finish this in 3 months, but if you finish it in 2 months, we'll give you a $100,000 bonus. And what they do is they'll push us to get the job done fast, and then what do? They'll buy pizza for everybody at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, they do that all
they
the
get
time.
$100,000.
Yeah, they got $100,000, and you'll see 20 pizzas out on the desk.
If I may,
I'm very familiar with that.
If I may,
I've
worked in Esau's world many years, and the biggest thing that bothered me is that when I came into the UPK, I would see us make a quota, and they will buy us pizza, and all the damn pizza got pork on it.
All the pizza got pork.
God, yeah.
So I still don't get no bonus.
Yep.
That's amazing. That's amazing that you would point that out, because that is a tactic. I'm 66. That's a tactic that I've seen used against us since I started working with a Social Security number at 14. You know, I remember I worked for what they call the Inkster Public Housing or something like that. And if we got all the grass cut in the project by a certain time, then they would bring us. Back then, it was right around the corner. It was them ribs, them pork ribs from one of the. There's only two good rib places in Inkster. So one of them rib places, and they would bring them there, and that would be our lunch. and that would be their way of saying thank you for busting your ass, damn near getting a heat stroke out here in this sun, pushing these lawnmowers. We know you're just 14, and we are putting child labor on you, and you know we violating the child labor laws. But here, eat this pork, and that's gonna kill you too, but it's gonna make you feel good, and then you won't sue us.
Thank you for busting your ass. Eat this goddamn pork so we can kill you.
That's it, and that's the same stuff that's going on right now. It's the same thing that's going on right now. They don't give a damn in the workforce as long as they get their production quota.
Damn right.
You see what I'm saying? And I don't care what production quota it is. Why you think them planes dropping out of the sky around D.C.? Them boys trying to meet that production quota of getting them planes off the ground, and they not doing all their safety checks, and or they getting somebody too close to them, and somebody zigging when they should be zagging. But the whole point is, Israel, you don't have to imitate and try to please your captors, your slave masters. He can't do nothing to you the Most High don't allow him to do. You understand that? When we left Egypt, the Most High set a pillar between us and Pharaoh's army as we ran away. Until we got across that river. You see what I'm saying? And then the Most High, this nigga gangster boy, the Most High gangster, he let them come chase us when the last of us was going through the river, only to run their ass in there with them horses and all that iron armor and them, and let the river come back down on them. And the song say, Pharaoh's army got drowned.
If I may, sir, a couple things about that is that armor and all that stuff they had on it was heavy. So they wasn't swimming about that shit.
No, wasn't no swimming out of that.
And two is I ain't never seen a horse swim.
Horses do swim.
I didn't know that.
Horses do swim, but they had armor on too.
They was locked to the carriage.
You see what I'm saying? Plus, they was locked to the carriage. You're absolutely right. You see what I'm saying? So what we're trying to tell you, if you don't celebrate this holiday, the Most High got you. At the very worst, you're going to save some money.
At the very worst.
At the very worst, you're going to save, especially if you only got beef hot dogs and beef hamburgers, you know what I'm saying, and some chicken. You can wait one day and go back to the park and have your picnic on Saturday. Go to the school first.
Or Sunday.
Just don't do it on the 4th of July. Hell, go Thursday. Don't do it on the 4th of July. You see?
Shit, do it tomorrow.
That's right. Do it tomorrow. Hell, do it tomorrow. Just don't do it this Friday on July 4th. Don't celebrate that stuff. Don't celebrate that stuff. We hate to hear about our people being unalive because we know the only reason they suffered that death, that untimely death, was because they disobeyed the law, statute, commandments of the Most High.
If I may, sir, real quick.
Go ahead.
Sorry, well, I know you may not be familiar with this, but right here in the city of Detroit.
Sorry, you want to know everything.
Yeah, he know everything. You know, he may not be familiar. I didn't say he wasn't. And right here in the city of Detroit on the 4th of July, some family members got into it. The news said they got into it over the last piece of chicken. So you know it was black folk because they got into it over the last piece of chicken. This is how they try to show us that we desire chicken so bad. They got into a last piece of chicken, and one family member pulled out a firearm and unalived another family member over some damn chicken.
Over a piece of chicken.
On the 4th of July. On you, sir. Close us out, please.
That's wild. You know, and that's it's unfortunate, and that's exactly why, you know, we can't be patriotic to this place. because you put your trust and your love and your devotion into America. You know, you're going to do things like kill your brother. You've been taught your entire life self-hatred. You've been taught your entire life, you know, to hate the person that looks like you, to hate your brother, to hate your sister. That's the place that we grew up in. And that's why things like that happen. You know what I mean? And it is exactly why we got to stop, you know, putting our devotion to this place. You know, it's time that we start devoting ourselves to our King Yahushua. You know, devoting ourselves to the nation of Israel. You know, the nation that God loves, His chosen people. We put our devotion to the Most High. We will not be unaliving each other.
That's right.
The Most High has the cure to black on black crime. You know, the Most High has the cure to all these different diseases. Not eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Not celebrating our birthdays. All these things destroy us. You understand? That's why we can't be celebrating the 4th of July. And so with that, we're going to close out the class. Does anybody want to say anything?
I'm good.
All right, so with that, we got another Monday Night History class. Do not miss the Midwest Fire Weekend. All right, make sure you make sure
you tomorrow. Tell them don't miss the mandatory scripture breakdown with Captain Hadar in Detroit. Don't miss that. Don't miss that tomorrow night, 7:00. And then also don't miss now. Beginning the 31st of July, don't miss the Midwest Fire Weekend. Be there or be square. Shalom, Israel.
Yep. Shalom, Israel.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isubk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West.